Well, good morning, friends. It's Sunday morning. It's podcast time with Brother Mike. I to my shut-ins. May God richly bless you today. Thanks for tuning in. I don't know if you made it to any of the services. The healing conference was incredulous. Friday night and Saturday morning, the Holy Ghost went on a rampage. Man, it was unbelievable. People were getting delivered from demons like you wouldn't believe. They were screaming out of people. And as they screamed and came out, their anxiety disorders left, their clinical depression left, their mental confusion left. I mean, it was one scream after the other. Some awful, horrible lust demons were coming out of some people. Oh wow, it was nasty. There were some people that had illnesses, and those demons were coming out. And unfortunately, those demons kind of come out with vomiting or foam or different ugly crap. But I don't focus on manifestations. I just focus on getting the person healed. And boy, those two services are really something. We're going to have another healing service coming up, and hope you'll stay tuned. I hope you can make it to the next one. Don't forget, we have two live services every week, Thursday, Friday night at 7 o'clock. We have four live Zoom services every week. Send me an email, Mike at hardcorechristianity.com, and I will send you the code and the password. And please give me a call, 602 636 5800. If you need to see a counselor for private prayer and deliverance, you can do that. There's no charge, no money, no insurance, no problem. No problemo. We'll get you on the schedule ASAP. And trust me, you will leave a changed person. Yes, you will. If you want to hear about all the miracles that happened in our ministry, I keep track of them all on the Facebook group called Blessings, Blessings. There are so many testimonies on there, you wouldn't even believe it. Go to the Facebook group Blessings and you'll hear all about it. 602 636 5800 if you need to come in to see a counselor, no problemo. It's a wrap, and there's no charge. Uh, you got nothing to lose, and you got everything to gain. Saturday morning during the healing seminar, there was a bunch of testimonies about people that gotten healed. There was a lot more people that got healed and never even testified. You just wouldn't even believe it. And that's not including anybody. It was on YouTube watching it or on social media watching it. It was remarkable all the way around. I'm so glad you prayed for us and so glad you attended. That was fantastic. As you know, I've been a counselor for over 40 years. I think it's 43 to be exact, but I'm not sure. I don't like to count anymore at my age. When you get to be an old man, you don't look forward to birthdays anymore. They're not really days of celebration. But for 25 of those years, I was a secular counselor, as you know. I was trained in the field of psychology and counseling. I graduated from Emporia State University in Kansas. There's my Emporia State University coffee cup. I am now drinking out of my Emporia State University coffee cup. Oh, by the way, I wanted to apologize to you for last Sunday. I had lost, something happened in my throat. I have no idea what it was. I went to the dentist. He gave me some antibiotics. I tried them. Didn't seem to do any good. But now I've pretty much got 99% of my voice back. So I apologize for last Sunday. That was not a very good podcast. But as I mentioned, as you well know, 25 years of my life, I was a secular counselor and trained in the field of psychology and psychiatry. And so I noticed when I was in graduate school, I was studying all kinds of classes in psychology and counseling. and rehabilitation. And I took classes that I thought were confusing. You know, there were so many different people who had different theories of personality, theories of psychiatry, and so on. Everybody seemed to have a little different take on it. What I learned from that was that each person studies all these different psychiatric and psychological systems, theories, concepts, and then they kind of implement, like pick and choose. You know, they're cherry pickers, and they take a little bit from Carl Rogers and a little bit from Albert Ellis and a little bit from Sigmund Freud, and then they kind of put things together. Well, when I became a Christian counselor in 2005, I left my career behind me, and I went to the Lord and I said, this was my simple prayer. I said, Lord, this psychology thing doesn't work. I don't truly understand psychology. I don't truly understand the depth of human beings. I need this information. I cannot continue. I cannot continue as a counselor if I don't have this information. I need to find out how this system works. Well, as I've explained many times, God gave me these revelations, these divine revelations on psychiatry and psychology. Okay? And I wanted to share a couple of them with you today. All right? And I wanted to focus on the concept of defense mechanisms. Sigmund Freud originally came up with them. By the way, everybody's really hard on Sigmund Freud, and I've been hard on him too in the past a little bit, but the guy was a literal genius, like I had an Einstein level IQ, and came up with some tremendous helpful psychiatric concepts. Okay, now obviously his problems were clear and obvious. I mean, he was a coke addict, and he had no spirituality at all. He was an atheist, and a lot of bad things about Freud. I don't like the guy, but he did come up with some things that were really interesting. And one of those things that he came up with was human defense mechanisms. And everybody's studied them before. You've studied them before. You know, projection, denial, right? Conversion reaction. And there's a list of them. But I wanted to share a couple things with you. These are deep. This is going to be a deep insight day. And this is going to be a podcast you'll want to save, because I'm going to be discussing some things that you've never heard before on YouTube or in Christianity anywhere. And so I need your attention today. Really important stuff. When you look at the story of Adam and Eve, which you've read several times, we all see them using defense mechanisms. God confronts Adam about what he did. And then what happens? Right. He blames Eve. Then what happens? Right. She blames the serpent. Then what happens? The serpent, who's without Satan manipulating him, is actually a big dummy. You know, I mean, snakes have nothing close to human intelligence. That was a supernatural event where Satan took over that snake's mind and started communicating with Eve. Same thing happened with Peter. Same thing happened with Judas. Satan is able to take over a person's mind. I went over that in detail in my teaching on Dipsychus, the fake soul. If you haven't seen that on YouTube, go to youtube.com/houseofhealingaz and check out Dipsychus and fake soul, and you will suddenly realize, hey, this is what causes serial killers. This is why my spouse seems to have a fake personality. During stress, boom, somebody else comes up. It's amazing. Dipsychus on YouTube, Hardcore Christianity. But here you see Eve and Adam blaming somebody else for their problems. Okay? This is all caused by demons. And what Christians don't understand is demons are experts on human psychology. And the demons that are assigned to your life, they follow you around 24/7, and they become your friend. Demons are your friend. They give you and teach you and train you to absorb defense mechanisms to protect yourself. You use defense mechanisms to defend yourself, and the demons give them to you and encourage you to use them because they're your friends. Demons are too smart for humans. They know they can't just beat on somebody 100% of the time. They have to give them some kind of relief. Sure they do. And you know what they are. There's millions of them: food, sex, drugs, whatever it is. And they also give them defense mechanisms because they're your friend and they like you. And based on your lifestyle, you like them. See, Paul said in Romans, you are the slave of the master you serve. If you listen to a demon and you receive their thoughts and you speak them out or you act on their thoughts, you are their friend, because Jesus said, you are my friends if you do what I tell you. So whoever you obey, that person is your friend. That's correct. So if you are yelling at your kids or your spouse or your employer, if you are hating yourself, if whatever you're doing, the demons encourage you to do that. And by your behavior, you are proving that you are their friend. You are not a friend of Christ because you're not doing what he told you. You're a friend of Satan. How can you tell somebody has a friend? By watching their behavior. Well, Adam and Eve had to do something, so the demons ran to their defense to save them from the accusations of God. What have you done? So the demons gave them a defense mechanism, blaming somebody else. At that moment, Adam became a friend and servant of Satan because Satan put a thought in his mind, it's Eve's fault. The biatch, she did it. Adam then, in an attempt to protect himself, blames her. Eve does the same thing. God goes to Eve and goes, what did you do? He did it. Exact same thing. Moses comes down off the mountain. He and Joshua, his trainee, they take one look out at the valley and can't believe what they're seeing. Moses goes berserk. Okay? Moses had a hot temper, but he was able to control it 99% of the time. But every once in a while, that thing would trigger, and that baby would come out like a hurricane. He started screaming. He had a gigantic meltdown and threw the tablets of the Lord, the 10 Commandments. He throws them and they shatter in pieces off the mountain. And the first thing that Aaron says is, the people made me do it. They gave me all their jewelry. I threw it in the fire, and just miraculously, this calf came out. What was Aaron doing there? Well, he was using, again, defense mechanisms given to him by Satan. The demons ran to Aaron's defense. And they said to him, Aaron, it's not your fault, my man. It's these stubborn, stiff-necked Jews. They're no good. They did it. Besides that, you didn't make the golden calf. It was supernaturally made. Satan made it. Just blame it on thin air. Blame it on them. Blame it on somebody. They did it. You did it. Gehazi, a faithful servant of Elisha, served him for years. Did a fantastic job. Great guy. Faithful servant of the great prophet Elisha. Nahum brings all kinds of gifts. And Elisha says, unlike our modern TV preachers and our modern mega church pastors. He says, I'm not in this for money. Elisha would be penniless if he were alive today. He'd have to start some kind of a church somewhere. And Nahum he goes, oh my God, I can't believe it. All right, well, whatever he says. They take all the gifts back with him. Well, Gehazi starts to go through a series of defense mechanisms, right? Justification being one of them. He's thinking to himself, hey, look, I need a defense mechanism. Can you give me victimization? Okay, thank you, Satan. Look, I've been slaving away serving Elisha for all these years, and I haven't taken anything. I haven't done anything wrong. I mean, I deserve to have something. I mean, why can't I have something? I'm a good and faithful servant. I've made all kinds of sacrifices. I mean, I deserve something, don't I? He runs after Nahum. He knows Elisha is not going to go for this, so he takes the gifts and hides them. He hides them. And of course, the Holy Ghost sees all defense mechanisms, and it cost him his life. It would have cost Aaron his life, by the way. He would have been killed along with the rest of them, but he had something different than the rest of them. He had something they didn't have. What was that? Yes, he had the high priest's robe, and that's why his life was spared. Years later, as soon as he took that robe off on top of the mountain with Moses, he dropped dead just like that. Aaron had a death sentence over him because of the golden calf. But he never died because he had on the robe, the high priest robe. And so here you look at Cain. And so Cain is sitting there with extreme religious jealousy. And there's almost nothing as cancerous in the church as religious jealousy. I mean, I've had to face some of that on my staff, among my staff members. It's really painful to have to deal with. Religious jealousy. I'm telling you, there are a few things more dangerous and worse than religious jealousy. And Cain had it up to here with Abel. Abel had brought to God the proper gift. And when Cain saw that and saw his was rejected, he went ballistic. And all he did was think about it over and over and over again. The demons kept pouring thoughts in his mind. You gonna let your brother get away with that? Your brother embarrassed you. He showed you up. You look like an idiot. Your brother's the worst thing in your life. Jehovah would accept you if it wasn't for your brother. Your brother's standing in the way. Your brother caused all this. Yeah, it's all him. And so you can see the defense mechanism where a Christian listens to demons tell them, you're not at fault. It's them. They don't understand you. People don't appreciate you. They're spiritually ignorant. You're a spiritual wonderkind. Wow, you're really something special. You're special. And Cain goes, he couldn't take it anymore. He had developed OCD of the mind, an obsessive compulsive disorder over Abel. And it got to the point where Cain went out to visit Abel when he was out farming. He was farming and Abel met him in the field. He probably called him out there for a reason. Hey, can you come do this and that, or help me with this and that? I want to show you this and that. There was some excuse. But he got Abel out in the field there. And instead of planting more crops, Cain plants Abel. He literally whacks him over the head with a shovel, bashes his brains in, and digs a hole in one of his own fields and buries the poor guy. Unbelievable. No, it isn't, friend. You see, love for your siblings is here, but religious jealousy is here. It is far more powerful. And so, hey, it's not your fault, Cain. Cain, you're good. Yeah, you want to kill him? You're perfectly justified. Your behavior is justified. You're doing the right thing. No problem. Go ahead and do it. You're owed one. You got screwed over, my man. These are the thoughts the demons are telling him. And he kills him. Well, the good Lord comes by like he did Adam and Eve. And he says, hey, where's your brother at? Where'd you bury him? Because his blood is screaming at me. I can hear him. Every person that dies on the planet Earth, and populationists tell us that since Adam and Eve, 40 trillion people have died. So one thing we know about hell is, man, it's got to be some kind of a huge place in the center of the earth, or it's got to have some kind of strange housing system. 40 trillion people, and most of them went to hell. Man, that's hard to believe. Anyway, who made me the boss? Who told me to follow my brother around and keep track of him? Who took this? So now he's fending off an attack from God by blaming him. Yeah. The thing that you're doing wrong, your defense mechanism tells you just to blame somebody else. And you do it in several different ways. You can directly accuse them of something, or you can kind of mock them. And Cain mocks him. Hey, where's your brother? Do you bury him? He goes, what's wrong with you, Lord? Am I my brother's keeper? What's your problem? See, defense mechanisms allow you to dump your crap on somebody else. And the demons help you do it because they want you to feel better. Understand this. The devil is your partner, particularly if you're a born-again Christian. Those are the ones he really hates. The sinners he's already got in the bag. But the born-again Christians, he doesn't attack them overtly many times. Much of it is sub rosa. He comes in under the table. And he tells the person, hey, it's not your fault. From a practical standpoint, here's how it works. The demons will pound the stuffing out of you with all kinds of trials, tribulations, heartaches, sorrows, miseries, agonies, everything. But then he says to himself, I can't just keep beating on this Christian because they'll run to the Lord. And the devil had made that mistake numerous times over the millennials. He screwed up so many times. He hates people so bad that sometimes he beats them so hard they run to the Lord. So in order to get you not to do that, he then stops beating you and then gives you a defense mechanism. See that? Yeah, that way you don't have to face truth in yourself because you've got an excuse for it. You've got somebody to blame for it. You've got rationalization. Well, everybody else is doing it. Nobody's perfect. It's all good. These are things demons give you that are blessings. These are their blessings on you because It allows you to deflect criticisms, accusations, and hardcore truth so you don't have to face it. So if somebody says, well, you know what, you didn't do this right or that right, and you go, well, wait a minute, you didn't do that right and this right either. And so you reverse it on them, and the demons are helping you do it. They're told you to do it. It's deflection. You're learning to do Muhammad Ali. You're doing the rope-a-dope. You're a dope if you follow me to the ropes. The demons allow you to do a rope-a-dope. Yeah, they're hitting you. They're beating on you. You're taking a beating. We're doing it. We're causing it. Hold on. Time out. Bing. You get a minute rest between a 3-minute round. Remember? Of course you do. During that minute rest between the 3 minutes of torture, the demons are now giving you a self-justification model. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. You know what? Those people aren't perfect either. I may have done that, but they've done worse. Yeah. As long as you keep your defense mechanisms, listen to me carefully, you will never be healed and you will never be delivered. And worst of all, you will never find your God-given destiny. Jesus confronted a lawyer one day, and he was asking Jesus all these personal questions. And so he tells him the story of the Good Samaritan. Everybody's heard that story, and they know all about it. Well, at the end of the story, Jesus says, who was really the guy's neighbor? And the guy goes, well, he's stuck. He's looking through his head for a legal way to get out of it. Doesn't have it. He's looking through his head to find the law or the Torah to get out of it. Comes up empty. So he goes to an attack. He attacks Jesus with a question. He said, well, yeah, it's true, but who's my neighbor? Where'd he get that thought? The demons gave it to him. They're helping the guy. Jesus put him on the spot. He had no intellectual way of getting out of it. So they chipped in with, man, you don't know who my neighbor is. You don't really know who your neighbor is. Who's your neighbor? And who's your daddy? As long as you keep in your mind and in your soul these defense mechanisms, you will never be cured. You've got to face them. If you're using projection and denial, are you using conversion reaction? How do you know you're using that? A doctor can tell you if you're doing it. You got this pain here, there, over there. You go to your doctor. The doctor goes, hey, there's no medical reason for you to have this condition. And the doctor in his mind's thinking, this dude's a hypochondriac. Now you know. Yeah. You're using a defense mechanism. You're a hypochondriac. If you go to an extreme in that venue, you've got Munchausen syndrome. Human psychology is really interesting. And when I found out that the demons were behind it, they were hiding back over here. promoting it. I'll tell you what, my initial reaction, this was 20 years ago. I mean, I was like stunned, absolutely stunned. I could not believe that I was that far off all those years, that this was actually spiritual. Why'd you do that? Uh-oh. Right as soon as somebody accuses you of something, the demons run to your defense right away. They start putting thoughts in your mind. It's not your fault, it's theirs. Here's why you did it. Somebody else did it. You go through a series of justifications. You go through a series of counterattacks. Well, you do the same thing. You ever seen two spouses argue? If you have, it's one demon yelling at the other one. You did this. Denial. No, I didn't. You did that. I did it because you did that. Justification. Well, wait a minute. You said this. I said that because you said that. You said worse. You. Oh boy. Wow. Boom. Demons are your friends, and they try to be very faithful to you. And they will beat you half to death, and then they will turn around and give you some relief. Listen, you need to escape from these people, from this situation. Go get a bottle of Jack. Where's your pot? Go smoke. Where's the meth? Yeah. Whore yourself out. Shoot up. What are they doing there? They do the same thing physically with chemicals that they do psychologically with defense mechanisms. And then they use justification and victimization. Their favorite one is victimization. Oh, I can't believe they said that. Can you believe that? This is an outrage. I can't believe my in-laws. My in-laws are psychos. Adam and Eve, Aaron, Gehazi, Cain, the doctor of the law, all of them. There's many more in the Bible. I just picked out a few of them there. They all used defense mechanisms. They were all blessed by Satan. The devil attacked Peter, didn't he? Peter started telling the Lord Jesus, you're not going to the cross of Calvary. You can't leave here. You can't leave me. You're staying here. Get behind me, Satan. What was going on there? Peter had gotten attacked by demons, and they had told him, hey, you're going to be all alone. You're going to have to face this Christianity thing by yourself. Jesus is going to be gone. Then they said, hey, he's abandoning you. He's going to leave you. Look at it. Look at this. He stayed with you 3 or 4 years. Now he's going to take off. Nobody likes to be abandoned. Can you believe that? This is the ultimate betrayal and rejection. Peter lost it. If you have a habit of blaming somebody, that is a textbook symptom of being infected with demons. I call them brain demons. You may call them something else. They get into your brain and they help you develop defense mechanisms. It's not my fault, it's your fault. Well, I'm a victim. I'm expected to behave that way because I'm a loser. My parents abandoned me. My school abandoned me. Everybody turned their back on me. I have a right to be on drugs. I have a right to be a failure. I have a right to feel the way I do. You can't tell me how to feel. No, friend, we're not telling you how to feel. We're just telling you those feelings and those thoughts are not coming from other human beings, even though auditorily it appears it does. Well, I was raised this way. Okay, that's an excuse. That's an Adam and Eve excuse. See, when you were born, you were raised a certain way, but when you become born again, you're supposed to be raised God's way. From that moment on is your birth, not your physical birth. Your born again experience is your new birth. And that's the most important thing. That's why you were born. You were born to serve the Lord. But people carry their past around with them, and the demons tell them to do it because it's a convenient scapegoat. I can't believe it. My dad left me, and my mother, she married a stepdad, and he was a psycho. See, you keep dragging your past into your present, which ruins your future. Dragging your past into your present ruins your future. Well, it wasn't my fault. I was raised in a cult. There are so many things the demons tell you it's not your fault, and here's why. Blah 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 blah. What are they doing there? They don't want you to face truth, because if you do, you're not going to be schizophrenic anymore. You're not going to be a borderline personality disorder victim anymore. You're not going to have psychosis anymore. You're not going to be bipolar anymore. If you're willing to face it, and you say, Brother Mike, I'm looking for a piece of cake, well, then stay mentally ill. Facing truth is not easy. It's tough. I've had to do it numerous times over the years. It's painful. You feel like a loser. You feel like you want to quit. You feel like you want to run. And then you feel like, wait a minute, those are all demonic defense mechanisms. What am I thinking? Why am I thinking that? This is stupid. They even use cowardice as an asset. Yeah, you'll shrink away from responsibilities, shrink away from admitting you're wrong, shrink away from apologizing to somebody, and want to run. And the demons go, listen, just run. You'll feel better. You don't have to face this crap, but just take off and run. Let's go. We'll help you run. Friend, if you run anymore, you're doomed to a life of gutless failure. You will never be cured of schizophrenia or bipolar or borderline. You will never be cured of psychosis. Your anxiety disorder will never leave. Your clinical depression will never dissipate. Listen to me, friend. I'm doing everything I can right now to help you, care about you. Trying my best here. These demons are smart, and they will be your spouse, your lover, your mother, your dad, your sister, your brother. They'll assume any role they have to assume. Okay, they're like chameleons to get you to use defense mechanisms, to get you to keep from facing that you're not 75 pounds overweight because you like food and you were genetically born fat. Okay? Hello? That's a defense mechanism. That's the demons telling you, it's all good. You're good. You're a good person. See, they compliment you when they need to, then they tear you down when they get the chance. Well, she drives me to drink. He drives me to drink. Well, come on now. I told you that story decades ago. Yeah, Some guy come walking up and said, my wife drives me to drink. And this legendary preacher from the 70s, his name was Bob Harrington. Funniest guy ever preached. He said some guy walked up to him one day and said, hey, my wife drives me to drink. I can't stop drinking. Can you pray for me? And Bob goes, no, I'm not going to pray for you. He says, but my wife drives me to drink. He says, what are you talking about? Your wife drives you. Does she force you to drink? Does she prop your head back and stuff a bottle of Jack in your throat? What are you talking about? And the guy goes, well, you've never met my wife. And he says, you're making excuses. How much do you weigh? 230. How much your wife weigh? 135. You mean tell me a 135 woman drags you down to the ground, props your mouth open, and takes a bottle of hooch and pours it down your throat? The guy's head just sunk, and he shook his head. He said, you've never met my wife. You don't understand. He said, what are you talking about, man? No woman is that bad. He said, you've never met my wife. Is that did it? I'm coming over tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. I want to meet your wife tomorrow. He says, okay, but it's not good. No, you're making all this up. You're just using excuses. Bob goes over to the guy's house the next night. He meets his wife and he turns to the husband and he says, pour me one. Now, that husband was doing exactly what born-again Christians are doing today, friend. You know, Bob made a joke out of it, but if you're making excuses, you will never be healed. You will never be free. And the difficulty in spotting demons is they give you something to make you feel better. Defense mechanisms are demonic attacks for one purpose only, to destroy the person. That's the ultimate purpose, but the initial immediate response is a benefit, a blessing. They want you to use a defense mechanism to get out of an uncomfortable situation. It's a trick. It's a trick. And if you're not willing to face yourself, which is the toughest person a Christian ever faces in their entire lives, past Satan, past demons, past fallen angel, past anything, the most difficult person a born-again Christian will ever face, and the most frightening person they will ever face, is themselves. And the demons give you every defense mechanism in the book to make sure you don't have to do that. There's method behind their madness. And I'm prophesying today. A lot of people like prophecy, so I make some up. Let me make this one up. You are not going to be like Adam and Eve. You're not going to be like Aaron. You're not going to be like Gehazi. You're not going to be like Cain. You're not going to be like some religious, freaked out doctor of the law Jesus ran into. Who's my neighbor? You're not going to be like those people. You know what? Yes, sir, you're going to develop the mind of Christ, and you're going to gradually morph yourself into the Lord Jesus Christ. Friend, you're going to have to find your destiny. What is it? Healing ministry, deliverance ministry, teaching ministry? What is it? A miracle ministry? It's something. I know that for sure. You got something waiting for you. But it's beyond the pale of defense mechanisms. Now, I'll close with this. I apologize for going too long. From the top of the veil down, the veil was ripped in the temple, allowing born-again Christians to enter the Holy of Holies 24/7, 365. Friend, that veil is your mountain of defense mechanisms that you use to hide your low self-esteem, your low self-concept, your inner fears, your childhood anxieties. All of it's hidden behind the curtain. And today, you're going to tear it down. And you're going to win. I love you. Love you lots. See you next time.